Welcome to the devlog for Epoch 0.15. This is the second devlog ever. I know it's been a while since I made the first one, but the idea was to do it every major update. Turns out every major update takes a long time to make, but here we are. New major update 0.15. Welcome, welcome. You can probably immediately tell there's a lot of new countries all over the world here. Lots of new playable countries. We're up to 126 playable nations at the moment. And I will eventually add everything. So if your country's not in yet, it will come. The UI has been pretty overhauled. You can click around now to get a little tile marker like this. Pretty fancy. It's inspired by Call of Duty's mission briefing screens. You can even open a city screen by going here after clicking a city. And it'll show you a bunch of details. Like it even shows you the political opinions of every citizen right here. So Luxembourg seems to be mostly militarist at the moment, which is completely random, by the way. These political traits have no bearing with like real life politics at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to do it either because the randomness is kind of funny. But we'll see, we'll see. You might also have noticed that there's a base in the city, something that hasn't been possible to do before. Bases can now be built within cities. So that goes for both naval bases and military bases. So you can have one tile with a city, a military base, and a naval base at the same time. And yeah, naval bases are new. We have fleets in the game now. As you can see, we have some here. If you open them, you can see they have fleets stationed within them. Yeah, if you go into like the country screen, which has been very overhauled, it's all different now. I'm very happy with it. You see lots of new stuff here, and there's even different tabs you can switch between to read different information about each country. Here are the ships they have and the capacity, and this is the manpower and the manpower capacity. I've added a lot of new cities as well. You can probably see here. Europe has a lot now. And yeah, some countries could still use a bit more cities, like Russia, Spain, maybe some other ones. But we'll I mean, I'll look into it. I don't have a team. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm having a team on this project. It's just me. Let's see. Okay, so we can just fast forward until we get a war, and I might just play some random country. North Korea, interesting. Okay, so we're North Korea. They don't have their flag yet, and many people probably notice that immediately. A lot of countries don't have their real life flags, so they get like a randomly generated one. It's just because I'm trying to tie everything into the random flag generator that I'm making. So I'm not drawing any flags by hand. I'm making them in code, basically. I want the flag generator to be really good. And you might also notice they're kind of small at the moment. There are plans to increase the resolution in the future. It's just not prioritized at the moment, but it might happen. Yeah. Let's say we're North Korea, right? And we wanna let's say you want to build out your army a little. You can now open the new base menu. And you can queue upgrades. So I can go into each of my bases and just queue a bunch of upgrades. You also see here, you can see every army that's stationed within it. And the soldiers within the bases are split into two types. There's the garrison, which is strictly defensive, while you have standby, which can be used, like right here. They can be used to protect this city if it gets attacked. So there's lots of new features. We have sieges and stuff as well. The update is focused on war basically. So a lot of improvements to have war functions, the commander AI, and you have fleets now that do stuff, and there's sieges. So there's like a lot of different advantages it will give. Like if someone attacks a military base, the defender will get an advantage for having the fortification level on it. This has 100%, which means it's fully ready to defend itself. And even like inside the city, if you go to the new city screen, you can see it has the fortification level up here. And it also displays the nearby military bases that will come to aid if it does get attacked. Here's where you view the devastation of each city. And here's probably the most important value to keep a look at. It's the stability. I'm a little unsure about the icon right now. I just didn't know how to do the icon for stability without doing like scales, because I've already used scales in other contexts. So I don't want to reuse the icon here to mean something else. But yeah, this is the icon for now. Just deal with it. If this drops too low, you might get rebellions and stuff, but that was already in the game before 0.15. So there's the tax income economy is not very well developed at the moment, so it doesn't mean much. I think the main gameplay loop is gonna be at the moment is gonna be like war focused. You try to conquer more territory and make sure all your new territory has high enough stability that it doesn't rebel, and then you just keep conquering. Because I feel like most players are gonna wanna do a world conquest of some sort. At least at the moment when it's so war heavy. In the future, I do want it to be less war focused, but what can you do? This is what we got so far. I want to see some fleets. Let's start a war against Taiwan. We'll probably lose. But you see, now the fleets are going up here. And obviously since South Korea has tension with us, as you can see on this bar here, they'll raise their troops because they see us raising our troops. But here we go, our fleets are going. And did you see that right there? They're waiting at the coastline. Same with our units. They wait at the coastline because they know that there's Taiwanese fleets here. So that's why we're waiting here. Because it's not safe to cross, because the fleets now can actually intercept the transports. So if this fleet intercepts any transport on water, it'll force it to retreat and it'll take a chunk out of the soldiers in it. So the fleet really acts as a defense if you're playing the island nation, obviously. And it works in the simulation. So we'll see here that this fleet is going to pick up an army. Like that. Picked up one of the waiting armies. And it dropped it up here because for some reason there's an unowned tile here. We found a glitch. But yeah, okay. They've initiated a sea battle because they met at sea. And it seems like Taiwan made us flee. Started a ground battle, likely because of this glitch tile. And here they are, they're gonna land. Man, this glitch tile is really ruining the presentation. Anyways, here we see the Taiwanese fleet has picked up more troops. Man, this is really bad. I need to fix that. Let's see what else is there. The fleets are able to do naval bombardment to assist in sieges and stuff, but it happens very rarely, and I kind of like that it happens very rarely because I want at some point I want to make it really expensive to do. Yeah, okay. So what else is there to talk about? The AI can now build bases. It's not just you like before. Before the player was the only one able to build bases, and we can actually view their little brain. I go into debug mode. Probably doesn't make much sense at first glance. But what it means is the greener it is, the more suitable it is for a new base placement. So Germany here thinks it's best to place it along the French border. France thinks strengthening Brittany here or like Koshika could be good, or even here, like putting it in Strasbourg. So they will try like securing cities a bit. You see that around the capital is pretty green. It's not super green because they already have a base there. But strengthening the capital is always something they want to try doing. And just making sure every city has protection is also a priority. Here it seems like Madrid needs some protection, and they want to put it in the north because the southern part of the country doesn't have much, or already has a lot of bases. So they think, okay, maybe we should put it further up. And I've reworked the AI declaration logic to be pretty different. It's a lot more unpredictable now. As you can see, the traits are listed here. So we have an impulsive traditionalist in Spain. And based on their traits, like they have the personality trait, which is more like about the person itself, and then the political trait, which is kind of like the platform he's running at. And based on these traits, he'll select a focus. It is also based on the situation in the country, of course. So we see he has cultural heritage preservation as his domestic focus, which is only internally in the country. You have one domestic focus and you have one foreign focus. So domestically, he wants to preserve the culture. It's likely because he's a traditionalist. We also see he's doing foreign relations as the foreign focus, which might be because foreign relations in this region are pretty bad right now for whatever reason. Look at Portugal. Portugal is just authoritarian. He has order and control as his domestic focus, which is likely because he's authoritarian. And then he has trade as his foreign focus, which might be for other reasons. I'm actually not entirely sure why he chose trade, but there's different factors they consider. It's not always obvious. And I think we found the reason that Spain is doing foreign relations. It seems France is a rude nationalist with a national defense initiative, which means they're building their army. They also have border enforcement. So they're strengthening their borders and building an army. And he's rude as well. So that's probably why they're trying to reduce the tensions and stuff in the area. We see UK with the same focus. We have a greedy plutocrat here. So UK is doing a manufacturing growth strategy, which is like building their industry, and foreign relations. A lot of foreign relations happening here. I think it's one of the more common focuses to see. We have Germany, friendly egalitarian. They're doing universal equity domestically and international peacekeeping, like non-domestic. What the fuck? Foreign. No, wait. Yeah, that's the foreign focus. And what's interesting here is if France decides to invade Spain, Germany might attack France because they have international peacekeeping. So they're gonna side with the defender. So they're gonna they might team with Spain. Doesn't happen often, but it can happen when they have the international peacekeeping focus. Switzerland does have the same. Switzerland is also a glory seeker, which is also interesting to see because they might pick on larger countries and try to win against them. They're not stupid, of course. They're not gonna go against a country that's like France, like gigantic compared to them, but they are a little more likely to take risks when they're evaluating to declare war. So yeah, there's a lot of focuses in the game. You can discover for yourself when you play. For the player at the moment, it doesn't mean anything which focuses you have. And I've been thinking like, should I let the player be able to set their focuses and have it do something, or should I just make it so the player doesn't have focuses? Like I've been thinking a little bit about that, and I'm not entirely sure on the route I want to go, but I'm thinking about it. So yeah, that's the game right now. The future plans are for 0.16 are to go back to 10,000 BC and 100,000 BC. For any Patreon supporters, they might remember that version working in like earlier builds, and it was pretty fun actually. I was really enjoying the early start. It was very different. The playstyle is gonna be so different. It's gonna be a completely different gameplay loop that's gonna eventually merge into more of this gameplay that you're doing in the modern era. It'll be interesting for sure. It's more like surviving against the elements rather than surviving against everyone around you. But it'll be very cool. And it will take a while. So I'll see you in the next devlog when that's done. Bye bye.